So basically the rigging of the Legend here is we're demonstrating the way we're going to rig on all the wave sails, the Epic, the Global, the Mutant, Legend, Switch and the Loco. If you have an RAF sail, like a wave sail, it's going to apply the same thing. The top of the sail is going to be flat, the top battens are going to be tight. You really should follow the specs on the sail, and you should be very, very close for the correct settings. Batten tension is important. Looseness in the top of the sail. The head batten is going to be quite, 3/4 of the way across towards the mast. And again, the same applies for the same theory of outhaul, playing with it on the water and seeing how the sail feels. Today we're going to do the rigging video for the Legend. I have a 5.0 Legend here, and we're going to get straight into it. I'm going to roll the sail out. I already have my mast together. Takes a 400 mast. I'm going to slide the mast in. Sliding the mast in, just make sure the mast stays together. Now when the join goes by the mast sleeve, just double check to make sure that mast is together. Pull it all the way into the top of the sail. Once you use the sail once or twice, it'll go in quite easy. And if you have trouble in the beginning, just leave it a little bit short, and what you can do is put the extension on. You can pull the top of the mast in using the downhaul. So my downhaul extension is 14. The sail says downhaul 12. So that means you want to set the downhaul, the extension a little bit longer. You want to feed the rope in so it's no crossing. Pull it down tight as you can before putting it through the cleat. Now, while the sleeve's nice and loose, I'm going to go and put the boom on. My RDM shim. Got my boom already set at 168. So I'm going to pop my shim on. I'm going to do it around the middle of the sleeve because it's easier. That's the loosest part of the sleeve, so it's a lot easier to get the boom on in that area. Put my boom on. Gonna hook my rope over the little loops. Now, having a little trouble like I am, let the downhaul off and loosen that sleeve a bit. Still having a little trouble. The sleeve is loose. Okay, there we go. Clamp that down. I'm not concerned about my boom height right now. Now I'm going to go back to my downhaul. I'm going to start pulling my downhaul. I'm going to make a bowline. You can use a rigging tool of some sort, a crank, screwdriver, or one of those fancy rigging tools to pull the downhaul. I just put a loop and pull it around my hand. So it's going to take quite a bit of downhaul, quite a bit of force. So what I'm looking for is the looseness in the top of the sail, which I see right now. Looseness is coming down to the second batten, and it's drifting down a little bit below the third batten. So the shape in the bottom looks good. I might pull just a little bit more, and I'm going to go back and set my outhaul now. And I got my loop and go here on my wave boom, so I can just loop that through. and hook it over the loop. Might need a little bit more outhaul here. So I'm going to extend my boom a little bit. There we go. Now I'm on 168. That's correct. So I was 1 cm too short. There we go. So with the outhaul setting, I'm not going to pull a ton of outhaul, like I'm not going to pull it off, but maybe just once there's neutral, and I'm just going to pull maybe just a little bit by neutral, maybe 5 mil, maybe a little bit more if it gets windy. So my outhaul set, I'm going to tie my outhaul rope off there. Now I'm going to go back and set my boom height, which is pretty good already, but if you need to, you can move it up and down. Next thing you want to do when you have a new sail is you want to check the batten tension. I have a batten tensioner here in my back pocket. This sail's been used before, so it already has good batten tension. So what you're going to do is start at the bottom, work your way up the sail. I'm going to loosen this a little bit so you can see what happens. The sail will get flat if there's no batten tension. There's also going to be wrinkles. You can look along the batten and you can see the wrinkles, especially when you're sailing it. So I'm going to crank up that batten tension. You won't rip the sail, you won't tear it, you won't stretch it. The sail is built to have batten tension. You want to have that skin of the sail nice and clean, but nice and tight, no wrinkles. We're going to work our way up the sail, all the way up to the top, and we're going to have batten tension through every batten. Make sure the little pocket here is closed so the sand doesn't get into the top of the mast sleeve. Now, a couple of rigging tips. Generally, you're not going to play with the downhole too much. You're going to set the downhole and then you're going to play around with the outhole depending on how much power you want, how windy it is, if you're overpowered or underpowered, if you're a big person or a little person. So if you're a little person, you might pull a little more downhole, a little more outhole, sorry. But generally, we're not going to touch the downhole. We're going to leave the downhole set. And if it gets windier, I would just advise pulling maybe a little more outhole on and just leave the downhole. If you over downhole the sail, it's going to get too twisted. You're going to pull a shape out of the bottom of the sail and it's going to feel very unstable. So it looks like we are all set, ready to go on the water. One other check you can also do is the top of the sleeve. On a wave sail, it's going to be quite flat and quite tight here, especially at the first and second batten. The batten below, number 3 batten stuff, going to get a little looser, but generally in the top part of the sail it's going to be quite tight, and the looseness is going to come in here, into the second batten here, and then below the third batten a little bit further out. So that's another check for rigging. So we're going to do a little derigging here on the Legend 5.0. Very, very simple. We're going to start with the outhole. Going to loosen the outhole a little bit. Take the loop and go off. Move the boom down a bit, just to make it easy to pop off. I like to get my hand inside the sleeve so I can get the rope off the boom. Boom's off. I'm going to pop my RDM shim off. Next thing, I'm going to go to my downhole. Going to undo my bowline here. Take all my rope out of the pulley. Pulley up. Push the sail up from the foot. Go up to the middle of the sail and start moving it off the mast. Go to the top, go back to the middle, very easy. We're going to roll the sail up from the head. We want to roll it up very tight. Make sure all the battens are straight. Put my timing up over the button. We're good to go.